So if you haven't heard the story, it's Paul Ovenden, who was the director of strategy in Downing Street, resigned after ITV News released this story. Perhaps you'd like to describe what the story is.
So in 2017, on an internal Labour Party messaging system, when I think he was quite a junior publicity officer, but still very much worked for the Labour Party and using work apparatus, he had an exchange with an anonymous Labour staffer, and we've got the text in full. Shall I read out Ovenden and do?
I'll be Labour staffer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is Ovenden. I've got something that will make you lol from last night. We were playing Shag, Marry, Kill at PT. PT.
No idea.
Personal training.
Personal training.
Honestly, I nearly wet myself from laughing.
What? I love that game.
Redacted asking Redacted who had used the strap-on out of her and Diane Abbott was a highlight/lowlight. And then Redacted's physical demonstration of Redacted putting it on was amazing. What are you doing? It's so big it has shoulder straps.
Ha ha ha, that's amazing. What was the answer? Some awful mental pics are assembling in my head.
We spent a lot of time discussing Redacted going down on Diane. Honestly, it was outrageous. Yeah.
What did you think when you read that? Because I think that's pretty horrific to be saying over a work. Like, imagine talking about one of us talking about our colleague like that over Slack. Like we.
Yeah, it is I think reading it out loud has really made it clear to me how gross it is.
Yeah, and also we're laughing about this, but because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
To do this over a work internal messaging. We're not laughing because we think it's funny what they're saying. It's just so absurd and bizarre that you would say it over a work Slack. Because I think the discourse about this has been quite interesting, and there's definitely two sides to it.
Initially, when I read it, I thought, is this a case of at some point there needs to be a moratorium of what we publish? Mm-hmm. I think if you publish something dumb on Facebook when you're 12, then that shouldn't come back to bite you later on. Mm-hmm. But this man was an adult, mm-hmm. using his work material to do something like this about a colleague. Mm-hmm. He was working for the Labour Party. Diane Abbott at the time, I think, was Shadow Home Secretary. Mm-hmm. So a very senior woman in his place of work. Yeah, that is a sackable offence, surely. That's gross misconduct.
Its context is everything, because I think we saw a lot of people, especially on Twitter, being like, oh, you can't play Shag, Marry, Kill anymore. And it's like, that's what gone mad. And I'm like,
Starmer's Britain, actually.
Yeah, Starmer's Britain.
You can't play Shag, Marry, Kill.
But it's of course you can. If you're in the pub, if this conversation perhaps had stayed in the pub where it was.
Yeah, I think that's probably also still inappropriate.
It's definitely still inappropriate. But I think what crosses an absolute line is using your internal Labour messaging system to talk about a colleague in that way. And also not just any colleague, but specifically a colleague who's been a target of quite vile misogyny and sexually explicit threats before, and a victim of misogyny and racism. And I think when I read this, I was like, why is it Diane Abbott? Again, mm-hmm. Why is she always the target of the butt of these jokes? And these are from her own colleagues, from her own party. We know what she's subjected to from other parties and from her opponents. I did think it was quite vile that she had to endure that from her own colleagues.
Definitely. And that would have been, Diane Abbott was a much larger figure in the news mm-hmm. at the time and was subject to all of these attacks. And so you'd think that people in her own party would not would be kind of protecting her from that. I think just speaks to the sort of factionalism that's kind of tearing Labour apart mm-hmm. at the moment. It's also interesting the source of this. ITV News revealed it, but I think they were given the story from there's a book coming out basically about the scandals of Starmer, and seemingly this is barely scratched the surface. So now this is somehow put the regime of globally renowned expert Morgan McSweeney's Downing Street operation into turmoil, because lots of senior Labour people are saying, why have you sacked him? Mm-hmm. We need him.
Because he was doing such a great job
such good
of the
job.
Strategy.
Yeah, it's you should be sacked for doing this, obviously. Mm-hmm. And does it speak to how weird people in politics are, that they think this is fine,
Well, I
that
think
you should be able to get away with it because you're one of the gang.
I mean, if you remember the sort of strange scandals that were coming out under the last conservative government, William Ragg and the honey trapping, and the bizarre who was the MP with the bizarre 2 a.m. phone calls?
Oh, I can't remember his real name. We called him I want to say Cunty, but it wasn't his name.
No.
I can't remember.
Anyway, he was like phoning his office manager, like saying that bad men had got him and he needed money. I think it is testament to how people in power think they can get away with acting. And I think actually that relates to what we'll talk about later, and Peter Mandelson and David Davis took Starmer to task in the Commons yesterday, saying that this isn't just a question of Starmer's decision making, but it's a question of his ethics and also what he thinks is appropriate behaviour for people in power.
Calling freelancers, small and mid-sized business owners. Tide's Instant Saver account offers up to 4% AER variable, flexible access and competitive returns.
Unlike other options on the market, you won't need to hold your money with Tide for a fixed period. That means you'll have instant access and free withdrawals whenever you need it.
You can get started today with just £1, making it easy to start growing your business savings.
Want to know what you'll earn? Tide's clever calculator gives you a clear picture up front.
Our audience will receive £100 cash back when you deposit £5,000 within the first 30 days of opening your Tide Instant Saver account.
Use code JOE, that's JOE, JOE. New members receive an annual equivalent rate of up to 4% AER variable, free for 6 months. For the full offer, visit tide.co/Joe. T's and C's apply.
And I think to go back to the point of context as well, and also to what we're going to be talking about later, which is Andy Burnham. One of the seats that Andy Burnham is seen as potentially looking at for a by-election is Andrew Gwyn's seat. And Andrew Gwyn was suspended from the Labour Party because of WhatsApp messages. And the WhatsApp message he said was, I think he'd had a conversation with a pensioner who said that she wasn't going to vote for him because of Labour's winter fuel policy. And he was like, well, hopefully she'll be dead by the next election. And he said that in a private WhatsApp group, not about a colleague, but a constituent, presumably thinking this would never get out. And he was suspended for that.
Yes, I guess the way that the political class use WhatsApp is for work to a certain extent. So I think there is a blurring the lines between professional and if that chat is primarily used for work stuff, then I think you can quite fairly say that's like work communications. When with the William Ragg stuff, I was like, what a stupid thing to do, because everyone was kind of going, oh my God, he's been honey trapped. He's a fucking idiot. Like that was my take on this.
Yeah, it's kind of basic government security training should have prevented that.
And there's actually been there's absolutely been times where you talk to someone or you're talking to someone and then you're like, do I want to put this in writing with my face and my name and my number attached to this? Like, it could be anything, even just like gossip about a friend that I don't want to get back to somebody that, or maybe I'm just a bitch.
I mean, a lot of people in Westminster use like the 24-hour disappearing messages.
Yes, that is true.
Which is annoying when I don't save people's numbers. No. I'm definitely like, who is this?
It is. See, for ages, Ollie and I made a reel about HMP Wakeford. Is that place? I've completely made this up. A prison. What's a prison that begins with W?
HMP. Is there one in one? I don't know.
God, okay, I'm an idiot. But it was like an explainer of how
is this the word nonce came to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for part of that, we had to be like, we mocked a WhatsApp conversation where it was like, are you coming to the pub? No, I can't. Nonce or something like that. So I was sending the messages and Ollie was screen recording our conversation. And I changed my WhatsApp photo to a photo of Danny Dyer. Just completely forgot about it. So I was like texting people from about stories, and they'd be like, "Why is Danny Dyer trying to get in touch with me?" Do you think this is the least of Starmer's problems, or do you think this speaks to like a wider trend in the way that we are kind of talking about Starmer and his and his government.
I think it is quite a Westminster story. The majority of people won't have heard of Paul Ovenden the same way
vast majority won't.
They will have heard of Peter Mandelson. And I think this story is going to be overshadowed by the Mandelson debate in the Commons today, which I guess for Starmer is something he'll be quite happy about because he's able to just sweep it and bury it under the rug. But I think what it does show is a mounting pressure on Starmer coming from within his party on the left and also the right now, people who see Wes Streeting as the successor to Stramer, and from outside the party as well, whether that's the media and scandals or from Reform and the Conservatives. There just seems to be a growing sense that his time is up.
Mm-hmm. And I think if you were having resignations relatively regularly at this point, if you look at the list of people who have been made to resign or been sacked from like cabinet positions or even just like staff positions, it does add to a sense of, the political class is all the same, and leading people looking for alternative options. And that can only help Reform, really, at this point. Is like, this Labour government is exactly the same as the Conservative government for doing distasteful things and having those people in positions of power.
Thanks to Tide and their instant savings account for sponsoring this week's podcast.
New members receive an annual equivalent rate of up to 4% AER variable.
Our audience will receive £100 cash back when you deposit £5,000 within the first 30 days of opening your Tide Instant Saver account.
Use code JOE. For the full offer, visit tide.co/Joe. T's and C's apply.